Aloha Algebra 1 students. Today we're talking about linear regression models. So this is the graphic organizer that we're going to use today. You'll need just a pencil to fill in. So we're going to start at the top of your graphic organizer, and it says variables. So we always have to identify what are the variables. There's two variables. We're using bivariate data, and I explained it as we have a variable of x and y, so we have two different variables, and we have to first identify what do those variables mean to our data. And when we're thinking about the variables, we're really going to be thinking about this table here or any table of data that you're given. So our x variable is what we call the explanatory variable. You may have heard that in science. And this is the cause of something happening. And one way that we can identify the explanatory variable is it's also the subject of the x-axis. So if we're looking at a graph, we can see it on the x-axis, or if we're looking at a table of data, we're looking at the x column or the input data. So the explanatory variable is also the input variable, but it's also the cause. In this case, we'd say it's temperature in degrees Celsius. And our y variable is going to be our response variable. The response variable is what we call the effects. Have you heard of cause and effect? So one thing causes something to happen. That effect is based upon what happens to the x variable. Another way that we can identify our response variable or our y variable is by looking at the y column or the y-axis. And in this case, it's Chevy sales in dollars. And so our x variable is temperature, and our y variable is Chevy sales. Okay, let's move on. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about slope. So we know slope as rise over run. We know slope as y over x. And remember from our, I'm just going to go back here really quick. Here, this one. If we go back to line of best fit, we got a slope of 32.9. And we know that slope is really a fraction, so we're going to say 32.9 over 1. And then our y-intercept is this, negative $223.5. Okay. So let's go back to our trend in data. And so this is where I got those numbers from. If my slope was $32.9 over 1 degree, this is how we would explain it in context. Okay? For every 1 plus 1 degree, so for every increase of plus 1 degree temperature, there is an increase of $32.9 in sales. So I put some hints down here for you to look at of how to fill in the line, and let's talk about those. For every one, so this one is usually always going to be 1 because we like the bottom to be 1. But if it's a different number, we're going to put the bottom number of our slope. Here's our units. Our units is degrees and degrees of temperature. So bottom, our x units is degrees, our x variable is temperature. Also, there is an increase. We know that this is a positive slope, so we're increasing. We're going upward. And when we did our line of best fit, we knew that it was a positive slope, so we're going to say increase. If it's a negative slope, then it'll be decrease. Here, we're going to put the top number of the M, which in this case is $32.9 in sales. Again, we're just filling in these blanks as it's asking us, but we say it as, for every 1 degree of temperature, there is an increase of $32.9 in sales. So if we're talking about Kaimana and his sales, he can earn almost $33 per degree hotter that it becomes. So the hotter it is, the more money he makes with the shave ice. And does that make sense? If it's very hot outside, more people will want something that's cold, and so they'll buy more shave ice. As opposed to if it's very cold, many people will not want to eat shave ice. Okay, the last one is our y-intercept. And again, we know y-intercept as B. And I did show you in the line of misfit a couple ways that we can look at our B. We can either see it as the y-intercept, or we can see it as this explanation here. So it says when temperature is 0 degrees. So again, what was our variable for X temperature? What was our units? Degrees. So whenever the temperature is at 0 degrees, what is our Y variable? Sales. The sales is negative $223.5. Meaning, if it's 0 degrees, we're going to lose money of $223.50. And if we think about that in like the real world, if it's 0 degrees, that means it's snowing outside. Are we going to make any money in snow cone sales or selling shave ice? No. We'll probably lose money because any money that we use to buy supplies is just sitting there, and we're in debt. We're losing money. Okay, so again, I also put these hints down here so that you can just use this as fill in the blank. Again, this is when we're interpreting linear regression for a y-intercept. When x variables is 0 x units. The y variable is y-intercept y units. Okay, we're just plugging and chugging. Okay, if you have any questions or concerns, please make sure you come in and see me and let me know how I can help you. Have an awesome day, guys. Bye.